Peggy, that's a hard act to follow. Can you sing? Because I can't sing.
Unbelievable. That was so amazing.
Oh my God.
I'm really choked up.
It was gorgeous.
And I thought about, what I wanted to tell you about the Cambia Health Foundation, and I think that she just demonstrated what we're all about. I thought I'd come out and tell you, we've talked a lot about universal truths today, and one of them is that every person matters. Whether you're a black woman with cancer or a white woman with a brain tumor or a caregiver suffering in silence or a new baby coming into the world, every person matters. That's a fundamental tenet of what we believe. And the next thing is every moment matters. Every single moment we're on this planet is important. And none of us know how long we'll be here. Tomorrow is not promised. But we all want to make the most of the time that we have here.
Right.
And we have invested in palliative care so heavily because we think that it helps people realize the beauty in every moment.
Right.
It really is about what matters to people as opposed to what's the matter with them. We see people as whole people and not as vessels of disease. Right. So I've just been so honored to be a part of this work and a part of this movement. And I can't tell you how choked up I am to see a person living with serious illness and thriving with serious illness.
It's so moving. Yeah. This investment you talk about in palliative care sounds totally organic in this room, right? We're all like, of course. But actually, it was a huge risk when you first did it about a decade ago. People were not funding in that area. There was a lot of political fear around death panels and what will people think? Is this going to seem self-serving? And you had your own folks around you who were worried about it, and you guys went for it anyway. Yeah. What gave you that courage, and was there a backlash?
Two things. What gave us the courage was really personal experience. I'll start there. When we founded the Cambia Health Foundation, we talked about what were the areas in healthcare that needed transformation. Because as you said, we're part of a larger company, the Cambia Health Solutions, and we really exist to advance Cambia's cause of serving as a catalyst to transform healthcare to make it more person-focused and economically sustainable. When we set up the foundation, we didn't want it to be something that was off to the side, something that made us feel good about what we were doing on the business side. We want it to be purposeful and strategic and directly tied to healthcare transformation. So we set about thinking, what are the areas in healthcare that matter most and what needs to be transformed? And we talked about, personally, my father was diagnosed with lung cancer at age 48, and he was diagnosed in October, and he died in January after just brutal treatment that left his body devastated and really impacted the quality of life for our whole family.
Right.
Our CEO, who was also a founding member of the foundation board, his mother had experienced some pressure at the end of her life to undergo unwanted diagnostic testing when she had made peace with the fact that she was dying. She was a very spiritual woman, and she declined a test, and one of the hospitalists said, don't you care about your children? It's that kind of guilt feeling. And then another one of our leaders had lost a child to leukemia. And all of those interactions with the healthcare system were broken.
Right.
They weren't person-focused. They weren't about helping people deal with all of the aspects of serious illness, of seeing people as whole people. And so we looked at palliative care, which was actually a relatively new medical specialty at the time, and we thought it should be a model for the entire healthcare system. Thank you.
Yeah, you're in the right room for that one, yes.
Palliative care really starts with goals of care and understanding what matters to people and then developing a treatment plan that addresses the whole person and their family. And it's the big fallacy is that it's giving up. In fact, it's really honoring life. It's keeping up. It's keeping the spirit up. It's addressing all of the social aspects of serious illness and the emotional. And we thought that was something worth investing in.
Yeah.
Anything that will really help ease the journey of people and families through serious illness.
It's so great. I think for me, it's an example of those of us with some kind of power and privilege can sometimes overestimate the risk to ourselves of doing things differently. Yeah. And it feels like philanthropically, you were such a leader, and I so admire that. Now you've been joined by about 20 or 30 other foundations and individual philanthropists and others who are like, all right, they did it, we can do it too. Yeah. What does the field philanthropically look like now? Like, what are the gaps? Because I know there are lots of people in this audience who may be interested in getting involved. What are the opportunities? What are you excited about?
Yeah. Well, I will say, when we got into the work, we did have detractors. People would said, you're crazy to invest in this work. People will question your motives. People will think you're trying to withhold care. And for us, it was never about that. Our CEO, again, he coined the phrase when people would ask us, what's the ROI on this? What people, worry about the ROI, don't worry about the ROI. He put all of that discussion to rest, and he said, this is not about a return on investment, it's a return on humanity.
Wow.
And that, I think we always knew that we were acting out of love, and the detractors or the naysayers were acting out of fear.
Right.
And I think we have, as we move forward with this work with that clear sense of purpose, we didn't experience as much backlash, and really any backlash. We are joined now by 20 or 30 other foundations. We've made so many friends along the way, including many people in this wonderful audience. So, and our lives and our work has been enriched by those associations. I think what's next for us and for the field is coming together on a set of common language. We know that a lot of people are still confused about what palliative care is. They tend to equate it with hospice and giving up. And we want to normalize the conversation. We want people in the field and people with serious illness to be using the same language so that people with serious illness know what to ask for and are as brave as the last speaker in demanding it and demanding the kind of care that they want for themselves and their family members. So I think you're going to see us try to drive collaboration around the use of language and consumer awareness. And I think many other foundations are interested in this work, and we look forward to partnering with them. And then I think we really want to focus on caregivers. I was so moved by Alex's talk, about the vulnerability of being a patient and realizing that you're in relationship with a caregiver.
Right.
This is all about relationships, whether it's relationship between the doctor and the patient, the members of the interdisciplinary palliative care team, or the caregiver and the family. We need to recognize those relationships and really promote and celebrate them and support caregivers as they navigate through the system.
Right. I feel like we should do, when we do that campaign to rebrand it, I feel like we could do a whole campaign around, I don't receive it in the name of Jesus.
I love it.
Bridgette's and get her in there,
Right, I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was thinking, see me, not my disease.
Yeah.
But hers is a lot more powerful.
It's pretty bold, yeah. It's pretty great. It's also interesting because last night at the film screening we did, Dr. B.J. Miller and I were talking about his suspicion of language, which is going to be a thread throughout the day also. You'll see after lunch we're going to keep talking about language. What are you all finding helps demystify the language around palliative care? I mean, do you feel like we should actually be throwing the term out and trying to completely re-language it, or do you feel like it's a matter of educating people?
I think we should say what it is, what it provides. So if you say, a doctor or a member of the interdisciplinary team is going to talk to you about what matters to you, is going to be really clear about your choices, and is going to work with you to manage the pain and symptoms of your serious illness, is going to include your family in the treatment plan, is going to support you as you heal from this disease or not. That if you describe the services that are included in palliative care, everyone wants them. And make it about really living well and living life to the fullest until you take your last breath, just as you shared with us. I think that's really what palliative care is. I think someone once said to me, we need to hire a marketing firm and rebrand it, right?
I'm serious.
So
I think we do, right? Yeah.
We're on the cusp of a major rebranding effort that will drive the social movement.
That's great.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, obviously get in touch. What are other things for those who are in the audience and thinking they want to be part of this growing movement of philanthropists in particular who are putting their money behind some of these efforts? What should they be thinking about as they start that journey?
Yeah. Well, I think make it personal. Remember that all of us at some point will be patients. All of us will be caregivers. All of us will have our own journey and experiences. And think about creating the kind of healthcare system for the world that you would want for yourself and for your family members. I think healthcare essentially is personal to all of us, and we need to always keep that at the forefront. It's not some big system, amorphous, payment model. It's like, what do you want, and how do you want to be treated?
That's great. Thank you so much, Peggy.
Thank you.
Let's give a big round of applause for this amazing woman.
Thank you.